master, all right. He's a master of manipulation. A master manipulator. And what I haven't talked is his grooming of Felicity. I've talked a little bit about her almost dying and her intense, dramatic way of recounting this to me, how she almost died, and it's how Dr. Zhang took no accountability for it, and she didn't even seem to notice that. It's like if I went to a local gym and someone there tried to kill me, and the gym had a guru, someone who's the authority, who looks in people's dreams and can follow them around and can teleport and give people energy and send people energy to their love and has the spiritual eye and knows about chi and goes on to other dimensions and is really strong and comes from all these traditions. And I'm fucking getting almost killed by his number one assistant at the gym. And then he tells me that it's my fault and that he was kind of helping me every step of the way. I mean, holy fuck. What kind of nerve damage do you have to have? And I believed this at the time, so I know what it's like when you listen to this story and go, oh, okay. Oh, okay, Felicity. He said that at the end of the day, it was caused because you're a psychopath. What a great way to manipulate the demon, right? Get her to be modest about herself. Keep that submissiveness. Keep that modesty. And because he's the daddy, he'll take care of you. He'll also almost kill you, but he'll take care of you, right? And one of the interesting things about my life is that people, including myself, tend to underestimate me. I'm very smart, and that's dangerous for cults, And I've gotten out of this cult, and I've gotten out of all that Hindu stuff, so I don't give it any fucking respect anymore. But I do respect the sincerity with which we all attempt to want to understand this life, and that you should take it all and say fuck it, and then just go back to who you were as a 5-year-old and think, what is the answer to life's problems? Well, one is getting rid of them. Would be great, dealing with shock, because the world, oppression induces shock. We have antidepressants, we don't have anti-oppressants. Depression is really from shock, but there is no behavioral psychology or biology in the world that will deal with that fact. They'll deal with everything that can sell you vitamins and fucking drugs, but they won't deal with the nature of shock itself, which doesn't come through genetics, it comes through behavior, right? And even behavioral psychologists won't admit that, so it's like, it's all a cock-up, right? So it's all kind of a communist system of so-called knowledge. And so people like Dr. Zhang in these schools, they can operate kind of off the radar. Dr. Zhang himself, I think, is a good deal more than he lets on in some respect, and is connected in some way to something. I'm not sure what. Oh my God. Yeah, he's a small dick man. I mean, he's a coward, for one. And Felicity used to have a picture of him around, a picture of her gurus. I had a picture of him. I eventually threw it away. This chubby faced Chinese man who apparently is guiding you from the beyond in Austin, Texas, who's admitted that all of his work is basically based on placebo, which is essentially all you can really do to account for this. And I think it's also based on grooming people, telling, his disciples, saying that, they are his disciples and that he could raise their children for him if need be for them because, he's such a strong paternalistic human being. He could raise your child. And it's like, I don't think I would ever like Dr. Zhang near any of my children. In fact, I'm pretty sure I would fucking kill him if he went anywhere near my children. If one of my children woke up and said a guy named Dr. Zhang was in my dreams, I would get onto a plane and kill that fucking asshole right away. He's a disgusting piece of shit, and he fucking knows, if he ever sees this video, to stay the fuck away from my territory in every way in heaven and earth. How's that for a fucking spell, you fucking cunts? You won't come near me, hell Satan. You've got no fucking control, do you, Felicity? You have no fucking control. You don't have control of me anymore, do you? You can't control the situation, you motherfucker. You can control it to the people around you, and you can smile and simper and whatever the fuck, but I know what you fucking are in your brain, and you need to fucking deal with that. You fucking bitch. Black fucking cunt is what you are. You're an evil fuck who's brought your innocent desires as a child around a lot of creepy fucking people, and your mother and father should have protected you from that, and they didn't. So fuck them too, and fuck this world. Felicity's father tried to choke her brother to death in front of her. I mean, Jesus Christ, man. Nobody needs to see that shit. That's awful. That's fucking awful, right? These awful things that we go through, and they're personal, and we each have our own way of dealing with them. But these schools and living your life and then hurting people like myself, I had a lot of residual effects from this. I had a dislocated shoulder. I had other genitalia related effects from this woman's idea of older yin likes to be with the younger yang, you know. Where are we at here? Well, we keep going for a little while. It's probably a few videos, but let's take a moment. See what time it is. So another day begins. I could probably do this video a million different ways and talk about many different aspects of what I experienced, but I think that gives anybody out there who sees this, I think, a reasonably good idea of my experience of Jingwei Qigong, and why I would ask for my $2,000 worth of payments back. I would get my money back if I were you, because whatever your experience of these people or their schools or any of their services, you just don't want to be around people like that. They're not healthy people to be around. They should go and take care of their own fucking issues and stop pretending like they can offer services to other people. You don't want to get into contact with a rapist like Felicity or a rapist like Dr. Zhang. And you don't want to be around these kinds of people. Whatever they are, whatever they appear to be, whatever we all are ultimately, whatever love is, I don't think these people are in command of it. I don't think they're in command of their own behavior. I think they're very good at keeping up their health plan is a subtle level of dominance that can be achieved by exploiting, with the help of this master psychopath, what one of the early disciples of Amma, who was sexually abused, said, being able to frack into the depths of the human mind and the nature of human pain, and to be able to exploit a sense of naivety around abstract questions of our lives when prompted by severe survival interests and imperatives of an often very acute or chronic, painful, or just a distressing level that brings down the life function, you know. And someone who sounds healthy at doctor and medicine and qigong and simplicity and practice and discipline and tradition and ancient magic and whatnot sounds pretty good maybe to some people. And in an understatement of the century, Felicity turned to me one day when I finished my practice, touching my stomach and doing the qigong practice, and said, "You know, I don't think this is for you." And couldn't have been more right. The answer to problems in the qigong school, if you have a problem of your own, is that basically it's just not for you. You know, anything that happens is your qigong experience, and that's just the qigong. That's the way qigong is affecting you. And if you don't like the way qigong is affecting you, even if someone's raping you, so apparently when Felicity sucks someone's dick, that's the spirit of qigong. It's not Felicity sucking someone's dick. And when people break into my house and sexually assault me or sexually assault me in public or anything like that, that's the qigong also. It's not that those people are doing something wrong. It's not that Felicity has any responsibilities to the people whose trust and whose money and whose faith, and Dr. Zhang, who has the trust and faith of these people. She has they have no responsibilities to them in any usual sense. And they have children that they invite into the school. And thankfully, smart people I've known take themselves and their children and leave. You don't want them around any of these people, any of these instructors at Golden Shield Qigong or Austin Healing. From the nice lady at the front to his fucking children, it's not wrong to say that they're deluded. They're just fucking deluded. The idea that someone will call your office and say that somebody raped you is a little bit odd, isn't it? Why would somebody do that, do you think? What other, if you were thinking to yourself as a countervailing argument, what other problems might I have? Do you think that I had a bad romantic episode? Or what do you think would generate this type of video if it wasn't a pattern of abuse? What do you think it would be? Do you think that people have such a bad reaction to Qigong or unconditional love that 13 years later they can make a video like this? Is that what Qigong does to some people? I must be a very weird human being, eh? Or maybe I'm just one of the few victims of Dr. Zhang's sexual and psychopathic malevolence and incompetence as a human being. This small dick Chinaman who's managed to find a way to groom and control these psychopaths, or demons as he calls them, and make them do what he wants them to do. A demon can be used in many different ways, but I'm using it in this way. And he said that he can control demons. That sounds like Enochian magic to me. Control of reality, right? Control of reality. To control how people see things, to control perception, to get people to see something and to make them feel good and to feel like, hey, they're going somewhere in life. Dr. John groomed Felicity. He has influenced her choices in life. And she's completely emotionally identified with him and would protect him like her own father from any charge or any imputation. I'm having trouble with this roller. Oh, doesn't like that. There we go. It's got to put a little English in it. I like that sound that makes. Does that mean I have a fetish? I have a sofa fetish. The love boat. Boy, it's also very hot in here. So thanks for listening, and I've been meaning to. I had a YouTube channel. I had a video up on my blog where I've referenced this about spiritual psychopaths. If you just go onto my cosmicheaven.blogspot.com and put in spiritual psychopath or Felicity Kelly, you'll probably find it. Spiritual organizations that fall prey to psychopaths or something like that. I was prey. I was prey from beginning to end. From the moment I met her to the last time I ever had to talk to her on the phone. And she was still controlling, still offering me services. In fact, one of the last times I talked to her, she offered me the services of one of the people who'd sexually harassed me, Brett Holland. So either she really doesn't hear things or see things. It's strange when you're developing your mind, the crystal level, the water level, to really become insensible of violent people and the effect that it can have. I mean, if you can endure violence, it's one thing. It's another thing not to notice the effect it has on mortals. So, in the name of positivity and spiritual development and physical development, Felicity has learned to tune out of the feelings of other people more than she probably already was. If you're going to be in cults with lots of messed up people, you better be able to tune out of the inevitable violence that's going to ensue as they attempt to rally all of their resources around some pinnacle of, spiritual and human potential. And what happens in cults and what happens with cults or groups that are populated by members who have come to this place precisely because of various family issues, that violence becomes inevitable, unfortunately. There's no scenario where Felicity wouldn't have raped me. She had a nice-looking young man in her. She took when she wasn't trying to physically rape me herself, she took, again, a controlling interest in any and all of my female associations. There was one woman that I liked or liked me or something in public, and she said, I think she looked pregnant one day. And it's like, she would offer, unasked for remarks about women that were in or out of my life on any level, even the most intangible level. Like, there was really no chance anything could. And just this incredible, it's just creepy things. I brought home a hitchhiker one day, and she lit a candle and turned down the lights, and sort of like in a way of saying, "Have a good time, you kids." It's like, it was just creepy. And I did not have sex with this woman, and wouldn't have. And her idea of sex, like the idea that people just have sex with strangers, is really weird. And that's weird for me. I mean, that's what you see with people who've been sexually abused. Wanting to have sex with someone like the first time you ever see them, or the first time you ever spend time with them. It's like, you're obviously going to have sex with them, and that's creepy. And crawling into my bed and having sex with me without my consent, that is rape, Felicity. That's rape, And after she did that, she called and said that she thought I had sexual problems. Again, no qualification what she was referring to, and just another crazy statement like, "Hey, I think you raped some teenagers." Or sex. Actually, she didn't say sex, she said rape, as though having sex with teenagers wouldn't be sexually criminal in itself. It's just sex. So what she admitted to me, basically after the first time she raped me, that sex between a 35-year-old man and teenage children was wrong only because I had sex with them, not because it was a felony. She was jealous at the possibility. She didn't think it was felonious. She wasn't saying, "I think you're a rapist. I'm so sorry that I fucked you last night." She was saying, "I think you had sex with children, and I'm jealous of them." This is on record, right? It gives you some idea of the mindset of a rapist and someone who's been sexually, the sex function has been disturbed. I mean, she doesn't have one, essentially. These impulses are not about sex. They're about dominance. And when people's sex is disturbed and they've been essentially psychologically sterilized, like Felicity and most of her disciples in the school, is that sex becomes about dominance. And so everything they do, basically, in a sense, is their sex function. And they protect it. And they survive it. Like Dr. Zhang is their lead signal. He is the penis of their school. They will protect it like they protect their own sex function. It's very personal. They're very identified. They're very militant. And they're very soft and loving and say all the right things, because to them, they're just serving a wonderful thing, and they've learned to protect themselves from people like me, or people who don't believe, or people who become mean to them, or trying to take too much power and think they know where the power is, all these kinds of statements that they use. But what power was I trying to get, say, by wanting to talk to the head of the school about sexual harassment that his primary disciple Felicity would not discuss with me? Not even for the sake of the other student, a female, who was clearly so distressed that they felt the need to sexually harass me in public. I mean, I'm sure they had some kind of concern. I mean, they're not a complete psycho. There must have been some rationale behind that, as creepy as it was. And it began the first time I met them, this Rosalie. The first time I met them, she looked around like an animal and glared at me when she walked away. And I made the mistake of making eye contact with her. You see? And that's what these people are like. Now, if Felicity had not been deranged, I would have talked to her about this, right? But she didn't want to hear anything. And so when I threatened, essentially, to talk to the leader of the psych, it wouldn't have made a difference. She became threatened. She went into a defense mode, like I'm trying to, somehow power her out of her position. She's very jealous about her position at school. And anyone's that insecure that a 35-year-old poet who's 165 pounds soaking wet and has no family in the world is going to somehow ape her position in the Qigong school is ridiculous. Hello? Yeah.